The Rabbit R1. What is it, you ask? This is a handheld AI virtual assistant or pocket virtual assistant that you can use to assist you with your day-to-day, which you can use to manage and assist you throughout your life, similar to what we use with Siri. However, this should be a little bit more advanced. So I'm the type of person where I don't often use instructions. In fact, I never use instructions. I usually just open it up, turn it on, press a few buttons and hope it doesn't blow up. Now with the Rabbit R1, I found I wasn't able to do that. This is a lot more complicated than it actually looks. For something that's very simple and comes with nothing in the box but the Rabbit R1 device, which is here, and a plastic case to cover it, which is a bit weird, and a QR code stuck to it. There's absolutely nothing in the box, not even a charging cable. Now, I had to Google this and figure out how to get this to work. And even on Google, there's a very, very limited amount of information that you can get on how to set this up. Luckily, I did find a video which was able to tell me how to set it up. You got to scan the QR code and then it takes you to a site, and then the site gives you the briefest of briefest instructions of how to turn it on. Now, little things like accessing the menu and using the touch screen, which might add isn't actually a touch screen really. It sort of is, but it's not, because you can only use a touch screen when you turn the screen sideways and it accesses the keyboard, which you can type in commands and you can also type in your password for your Wi-Fi, and that's about it, which is a bit weird. Takes some getting used to, because for such a big screen you would assume I haven't seen a phone or a device that's not touchscreen in many years, and this was a bit of a shock to the system considering it only has a scroll wheel and one button on the side. So after a couple of days of faffing around, I finally managed to get it to work, and there wasn't much to do. I was literally just greeted with this simple screen where it just shows a rabbit and the time. It doesn't actually show anything else, so it doesn't really entice you to want to do anything else other than try to figure out how to access the menu and all the other different settings. And that is another odd one, because I found you had to shake the device like this and then the menu pops up. With the menu, you shake the device like this and then the menu pops up, and the options are, I mean, they're just standard options really. It doesn't really give you much customization ability or ability to change anything. However, there isn't anything to change because that's all you can do. The main focus, I guess, is to speak to the device and get the device to identify things or be a personal assistant to yourself and your lifestyle. So if I want to order an Uber, I say, hey, can you order me a car for such and such time? It'll think about it and then it will order me the car. Now, how we set that up is through the rabbit hole. Now, the rabbit hole is the mastermind behind this whole operation, I guess. This is what helps set you up. You gotta log onto that through your browser, which is slightly disappointing because we got this screen real estate that we don't actually use for anything. You log online, once you get online, you can type in your Uber details or your Spotify details, and it gives you access. So if I was to say, play me some music, or be a bit more specific, if I was to say, play me the latest Drake tune, for example, then we'll search it like it is doing now.
You are not logged into Spotify or Apple Music. Please log in using the connections page on the rabbit hole.
Right. So you'll do that and it will log you into Apple Music and play the latest Drake tune, or it will log you into Spotify, whichever your preference is. But you have to do that via a website, which is slightly disappointing. So let's talk about build design. This is very, very simple, extremely simple, to the point where it's literally just a scroll wheel, a button, and a 360 camera with a screen that you can't do much with. But the 360 camera is probably not the worst. It's okay, it's actually alright. I kind of like it. You have to double tap to access it and get the camera working, and once the camera's up you can then flip it around and I can point it at myself or I can point it at whatever's in front of me. Sticking with the build design, you have a USB-C port to charge. It charges pretty quick. I can't fault it. 30 to 45 minutes we get full battery. However, battery life is not significantly strong. It does die out pretty quickly. We have a SIM card tray which you can use to use the 5G or 4G options that are available to use your device outside. Now, it also does connect to Wi-Fi and it does connect to Bluetooth. The Bluetooth option is to connect to your smart devices like your smart plugs at home, and you can operate those devices using the Rabbit R1. The Wi-Fi, on the other hand, is something that I've struggled to use because it doesn't often connect straight away. Sometimes it's a bit fiddly and I have to forget my Wi-Fi and then reconnect just to get it to work. And I don't feel like you should have to do that at this stage. I feel like it should be smooth and very simple. I've never come across some challenges like that before, but it's all learning. This is one of the key functions here. So I've got the camera on right now and I've just pointed here and I'll say hold this button. What is this plant in the corner?
Let me see. I apologize, but I do not see any buttons in this image. The image shows a decorative houseplant or tree in a room with some curtains, a fan, and some clutter in the background. I cannot provide any instructions about holding a button.
But as we just witnessed, it's very descriptive on what the things that I've asked it. It kind of goes off on a tangent, which is not useful. For something that should be very simple and user-friendly, it doesn't feel that way. You know, something like shaking the device to get the menu to pop up, which is, for me, that's a bit odd, because to access the menu it should be something simple like pressing the button on the side. But when you press the button on the side, it locks the device, I'm guessing, because the screen goes black. And if you double tap the button, the camera activates. So then you have to shake the device to access the menu, which is, you would never think of that. And then the scroll wheel is the only way to access the different options in the menu. You scroll up, you scroll down, and to go backwards you always have to go back to back or back to home, and then click the button on the side and then you can go backwards. That seems a bit out of date to me. The option that's on the smartphones where you just swipe up and then the app's gone, I feel like that is, we take that for granted because it's very simple but very effective. Whereas scrolling all the way up to go backwards is probably not the most effective way to use your handheld. I know, you're right. It definitely needs time, and I've got to give it a bit of time to develop and improve through updates. There's over-the-air updates, which you've seen, and those things will improve the AI service and the system over a period of time. However, this just seems like a beta test. It doesn't seem like it's ready to be released out into the general public to be used. It's almost like they rushed it out and there's nothing positive I could possibly say to it or add to it to make it feel like there is hope in the future for this device. Yeah, so it's an interesting device.